Hinckley got into football when he was 5 years old.
It didn't stick with any of my other siblings.
Plain and simple, it was Hinckley's thing.
My head coach, he texted me and told me, hey, I got somebody's here to see you. There he was one of the coaches from BYU. And immediately I was like super excited because BYU, like one of the schools that I hope to go play for. And I came back afterwards and talked to my coach. So like, so how'd it go?
I could just tell like something was weighing heavy on his mind. And I was like, what happened? He was like, they said I'm too short. And I was just like, dang.
I started to grow this feeling of animosity towards them. Just like, man, you know what? I'm gonna prove them wrong. That's kind of was like a part of like the chip on my shoulder for like the rest of my senior year.
So he went on his mission, and when he came back, he got a little thicker in his like body mass. I was like, man, I'm kind of looking up to you now. Like you're a little taller too.
The mission did a lot of great things for me. I've grown spiritually, you know, and mentally, emotionally in so many ways, but I also grew physically.
Before you left, if you go serve the Lord, all your heart and mind and soul, the Lord will bless you with everything. So if you really feel go back to football, I already told you what blessing is there.
When I came home from my mission, I went to Cerritos Junior College, and that's where I played my freshman year of football.
We had to learn him, and we had to find out his triggers to actually not have him overwork because he's a workaholic. He put everything he could into it.
So when he was lifting with Cerritos like preseason, BYU came and they kind of like saw him. They were like, oh wow, who's this kid? Like.
So I asked the coach who he was, and when the coach said his name, I was like, there's no way that's that guy. I just remembered this skinny little high school guy. Now he was playing running back, and he looked like a running back.
At the end of the season, we have exit meetings with our players, and I told him, I said, you know, I'm really excited that you may be coming back, but I said, I know if somebody comes in and wants you, that we're not going to stop you from going.
After my freshman year, I was at the highest point of my life. I'm starting to see my dreams come to reality. I'm starting to see that I really am going to go play Division I football. If I'm being honest, BYU was like the last school on my mind. Like I said, the animosity I had towards them in the beginning. And so I wasn't really thinking about them. I was hoping to stay closer to home, and that's kind of what was the plan. And then.
It was all so sudden, really. Nobody had any idea, you know, not even a clue. My mom was the type, when it came to her health, she was very quiet about it.
When I came home from work, she was planning to make the barbecue for his son's birthday on that day.
And I just remember getting a phone call from my dad. And while they were at my aunt's place, I guess my mom, she passed out.
First thing I did is I gave her blessings, you know. So I prayed to our Heavenly Father to give your life back.
Like at this point, you're not thinking anything. You're just like, okay, you know, we're gonna pull up and we're gonna see what's going on. And as I pull up to the hospital with my younger brother, I just remember, you know, seeing my older brother and my dad just sitting outside. This is during COVID.
And the doctor comes out, and he tells us that my mom had passed away. They were able to bring her back for like a couple minutes, and then she went back out.
I just remember everything just kind of going blurry. And I remember just thinking like, man, what's going on? What do you mean you can't bring her back? Like, what do you mean? Like, I just felt like my world at that moment just like completely turned upside down.
We just told each other, hey, like, you know, no matter what happens, you know, we all got each other. We all remember what mom instilled in us. We can all be a part of that backbone now. It's our time to step up. And we started driving home.
I just remember walking out of the car and going into the house, and I feel like that was the hardest part of everything, was just telling the girls, telling my younger sisters that their mom wasn't coming back home. You know, and I feel like after those words came out of our mouth, that mom wasn't coming back home, I don't know, I just felt like it was just another dagger to the heart, you know.
Our mom is gone. Like, there's no answers to be given at the moment. There's no clarity with the situation. It's just like, she's gone.
Now, whenever we go through anything, we go with it, with everything we have, because there's nothing that we're gonna go through that was as hard as that moment.
2 weeks after my mom passed, BYU actually reached out and started to recruit me a lot harder than they were before. And then obviously with like the recent passing of my mom at that time, it was just kind of like,
the last dream that they shared together was that dream of BYU. He was just like, I just have to do it. Like, there's no other choice but that one that I know my mom would have like wanted for me.
it was my outlet on a lot of things that I was dealing with at the time in my life. Just being able to just play football and be out there with the boys was, for me, the biggest way to cope with a lot of things that was going on in my life.
A lot of people can rally around and show empathy. It's another thing when someone takes a loss that they've experienced, but then also serves others. Coming up to me and asking me how am I doing? And I'm like, man, I'm doing good, but like, seriously.
I'm still new to the system, and I was just learning the playbook, getting closer to, my teammates. And then all of a sudden,
He tore his ACL in like the first or second practice.
The very next day, he gets in his pads and comes jogging out to practice like nothing happened. He came out and was trying to do the drills and everything, was trying to cut, and you could just tell like he wanted to play so bad.
I told him, like, man, don't worry. Like, you may be down now, but you're gonna be up again. And you're gonna work your way back up, and you're gonna grind hard, you're gonna get to it like you always do.
Got beaten down, could have quit 15 times, has not done it, came back last year, kept a great attitude, did whatever he was asked to do, never got down on anybody, didn't get down on himself, and then had a great second half of the year. And the games we won in the second half wouldn't have happened, in my opinion, without him.
there are plenty of times in my life where I felt like, man, what can go wrong, or could it be any worse? And it really could. I just look at my life and the journey that I've been through to get to where I am today, and all I can feel is just gratitude. Most importantly, to Heavenly Father for those blessings, and just to have a loving family back home, always supporting me and loving me no matter what. I'm truly blessed to be where I am, to be here at BYU, playing the sport that I love, marry the girl of my dreams. I feel like there's not much I can ask for.